And people are mentioning this player, and I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, I'm sorry. People are saying if Lexie Hull could consistently score 6 to 8 points a game, if he were the 1 seed. Like, I don't know what she does. I don't know what she does. It is as simple as that. I don't know what she does. Does she play defense? And the problem is, she's still playing 15, 20 minutes a game. There's no, like, she has 10 points combined. She's averaging 2.5 points per game over the last 4. 2.5 points per game. She's had more games this season where she's had more fouls than points than she's had 10-point games. Like, she has 5 10-point games on the season. I think she has 7 games with more fouls than points. She has she had a stretch where she was averaging 9 points per game over 4 games, and the Fever won 3 out of 4. I wonder, like, what is her points per game in losses? 9 or 4.5. Under 4. She got 5 in a loss, 2 in a loss, 0 in a loss, 9 in a loss, 2 in a loss. In fairness, she had 14 in a loss against LA. And then, again, 2 in a loss, 6 in a loss, 1 in a loss. Like, I'd say she's averaging about 3 points per game in losses. And like, what's she averaging against playoff teams? Which is an interesting one. So against playoff teams, 4.5. Again, just over 4.5. Just over that. And 2, 0, 9. 2, 6, 1. 8. Is 8 her season? 9 is her season high against a playoff team. No, say 10. She's had 10 points. And that was a blowout game without Angel Wilson. That was a blowout without Angel Wilson when it was a bench v bench. She has scored double digits once against a playoff team. Like, that is concerning. That is concerning if you're Lexie Hull. And the problem is, if you say, oh, you can't judge her defensive or her offensive numbers, but like, she's meant to be a defensive player. She is the worst defensive player on this team. No question about it. She is the worst defensive player on the Indiana Fever. And it's so funny. Anytime I make a negative video about Lexie, I'll lose 10 subscribers. Like, I've lost 53 subscribers yesterday. I've lost 30 today. Yes, because you gain someone, lose someone, you can see that. Like, at what point do we just come out there and say, like, she's just not good enough? And the Fever have to get off her. I don't think people get it. If Lexie Hull and Monique Billings stay on this team, the Fever can't afford Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Like, the more they play her, it feels like the more they're going to have to attach to get off her contract. Like, I was seeing all these things about how, all of these things about how Lexie Hull is untouchable in trade talks. About how they're going to keep the core 4 together. What are we talking about core 4? She's terrible. If Lexie Hull's in your core 4, you're not a serious basketball team. At least other teams that have players similar standard to Lexie Hull that are in the rotation are on minimum contracts. She's not as good as Stephanie Talbot. She's not as good as Beck Allen. They're on minimums. It is the worst contract in the league. Katie Lou Samuelson is playing better than Lexie Hull right now. She's off an ACL. Katie Lou is playing better than her. She is one of the highest paid wings in the league. I want to see, is there, what wings are getting paid more than her in the league? Let's look at a average year by year. So, what wings are getting paid more? As in, threes. Bridget Carlton on a max. You know what? You know what? You could pay Bridget Carlton 3 max contracts and she'd still be outperforming. Bridget Carlton, who's averaging 17 points per game and still 100 times better on defense. Gabby Williams, maybe the depoy. Alicia Gray, all-star. Copper, all-star. Kayla McBride, snubbed of an all-star, but an all-star. Marina Mabry, okay, score. Sykes, at least plays defense, but got injured. Was going to be an all-star. Atkins, okay, Atkins has been not great for 1.1 million. The fact 1.1 over 3 is a bad contract, but still, at least she's going to give you double digits. At least she's going to do it. At least she's going to give you double digit points. Kennedy Burke, 1 year contract. Still better than Lexie. Maybe Satu's a worse contract than Lexie. But like, Lexie Hull's getting paid more than Kayla Thornton. Kayla Thornton was an all-star last year. She was an all-star. Michaela Onyeawere is so much better than Lexie. I can't believe I'm saying that she's better than Lexie. Kyla Charles is way better than Lexie. She's on significantly less money. Tip Hayes is on significantly less money. I know she's older. She's better. Janelle is on... I know she was reserved, so it doesn't really count. Ayayi, you could have brought in Vala Ayayi as your starting small forward. And like, that's a 1 seed. Like, if they didn't fuck up the mobility, because of how well KK's playing, if they didn't fuck up the Lexie Hull contract, you're looking at this team potentially being able to build into a contender or into a top team in the league. Because by all accounts, V wants to leave Minnesota. They're there for the taking. They're there for the taking. But the problem is that at taking up $800K salary cap room next season is a player who doesn't shoot, doesn't defend, is a decent rebounder from a wing, can't dribble, doesn't create her own shot, is like not a good off-ball defender anymore, is foul prone. It doesn't pass well. Like, she's not even cutting like she used to. And I get it. Lexie Hull, great human. Her effort will never be questioned. But I'm sorry, when your contract goes up, when you're making 80, 90K, when you're shoved on the end of the bench for Christy Wallace, and you're coming in and giving 100% effort, diving on balls, the way the game is being refereed suits your style of play, everything. It's easy to get behind that player. It's easy to get behind a player who is shoved on the end of the bench for an inferior player, who's coming out there giving their all, diving on loose balls, hitting big shots. But like, even in 2024, she wasn't stepping up. Like, in the playoffs, she was terrible. Up to the playoffs, she was terrible. She had a 5-game hot streak. Like, it's really, really... Someone said she can't create her own shot and terrify me when she dribbles. Yes. Like, it's really easy to get behind the underpaid hustle player who's not making a lot of money and still puts their body on the line, who'll play through everything, who'll give her all for the team. I get all of that. And when it comes to Lexie Hull, all of that is still there. The problem is, when you are no longer that underpaid hustle player and you become one of the worst contracts in the league, there is a different expectation on you. And when you combine that with her worst season of the last 3, that is a problem. Like, that is a big problem. And as well, not necessarily her fault, the rules changed from under her. The way the game was refereed changed from under her. And now it's at the stage where the game is being refereed differently. Everything about it is not to the benefit of Lexie Hull. And we're looking at her now as, I don't care about what any stats are concerned, the worst starter in the league. Because if you saw yesterday, was she trusted to guard Jackie Young at any stage in the game? No. Against Minnesota, was she trusted to guard Courtney Williams or Olivia Miles? No. They had her guarding Kayla McBride, who was standing in the corner. She no longer is even being trusted to guard the other team's best players. Caitlin Clark is taking tougher defensive matchups in a lot of games than Lexie Hull. She didn't last night. But still, honestly, Chelsea Gray versus Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd is equally as tough a defensive matchup. But she did take Steph Talbot. She's no longer even being trusted to take defensive matchups because teams know she can't play defense. And then she comes in the game for defensive possessions and the Fever concede every single time. Like, she comes in and they concede every single fucking time. Like, it's a disappointing one if you're looking at, if you're watching Lexie play, because, look, she's somebody that we all got behind. We all wanted to get behind. Because she was the underpaid player. She had a coach pushing her to the end of the bench, and she was way better than that. Because you can be that hustle player. The problem is the expectation for her is different, and the expectation for the Fever is different. When you're a team, when you are this up-and-coming, scrappy team pushing for the playoffs, then your flaws and deficiencies can be looked past. When you are a team whose next step is to win a title, and we can question whether or not the Fever are good enough for that, I still think that they are the second best team in the league. We saw it last night. I thought the Fever were complete and utter dog shit last night. And they still should have won that game. Like, when it comes down to it, they're not going to be, like, there's no world in which Fever should have lost that game yesterday. They nearly stole a game from Minnesota. This is a team, we saw it. They were up 2 at the end of the first quarter and they went up 25 minutes in. There are no teams that can, when the Fever are in a flow state, they are unguardable. So I still put them in contenders. You can take them out of that if you want, but I still put them in there. The problem is there is a different expectation now, and Lexie Hull brings nothing. She brings, at this stage, I think you need to start Raven. If you don't want to start Sophie and you like Sophie off the bench, start Raven. Start Raven because she doesn't rebound well enough for it to be a size issue. Like, start Raven. Because they got to do something. They got to do something. Genuinely, they got to do something because Lexie's just not, straight up, just not good enough. She's not playing well enough. And maybe she'll figure it out at some stage in the year because, look, I think even if you get 2025 Lexie Hull back, I don't think that's good enough to be a starter on a championship winning team. The problem is that we don't even have pre-Olympics 2024 Lexie Hull right now.